Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of February, and tonight I'm going to be announcing the winner of my 500 subscriber giveaway. I am aware that I didn't post a video over the weekend or towards the tail end of last week. Life just got in the way, as it tends to do. I had a bit of work to catch up on. I also had some other things that needed my attention, so unfortunately I had to push the videos to the side. But hopefully a little more service will be resumed this week. There will be another video coming this week for definite. I've got one planned, and that is for an update to my Isle of Man collection. And I don't know whether that's going to be Thursday or Friday, and I'm not sure about the weekend episode as of yet, as I do have to do some more work, as in from my job, over the weekend, and that could tie me up for a few hours, which leaves me with not enough free time, but we'll just see how that goes. So don't worry if you think that I'm not making content anymore. It's not the case. It's just that, as I say, things get in the way, and I do actually want to spend a bit of time with my collection and, you know, reorganising certain areas of my stock books. So there is that as well. So I'm going to do a bit of incoming mail, and the first one here is from the US, and you can see the name up at the top there. That's Ted Tisker. Now, I'm sure many of you will know the channel Ted Talks Stamps, with Ted the Talking Stamp Collector. Now, Ted reached out to me a couple of weeks back and said, can I have your address? I've got some stuff I want to send you. And yeah, I mean, one thing I did love on this was the these two 1969, well, 2019 50th anniversary of the moon landing stamps. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I like the silvery reflection on those. I think those are two fantastic stamps. Now, these are self-adhesive, so I know that these won't come off. But that does not appear to be a problem, because if I have actually opened this. I've read there's a note from Ted, and if you're unaware, Ted not only has a channel on YouTube, but he also has a forum that he started up very recently, and he did ask me in the note, you know, he said it'd be great to see you, you know, popping up on the forum and posting. So I am a member. I did sign up a couple of weeks ago on Ted's forum and introduce myself. There's an introduce yourself thread, and I'll put the links to both Ted's channel and his forum in the description of this video. But he's a very nice guy, Ted. If you've seen any of his videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's very jovial. He has a very fun and pleasant approach to his content. Just an all-round lovely guy. And very interesting as well. You know, he's been collecting for many years, so he's a great font of knowledge. And you know, he's willing to share a lot of his knowledge. He's done a great couple of videos on making custom albums. So if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely worth going and have a look at his back catalogue of videos and episodes. And also, yeah, maybe consider signing up for his forum. You know, anywhere that, you know, that we can get together and you know, swap ideas, swap stamps, ask questions, and just, you know, help each other out along the way. You know, it's all good. Now, Ted has been very kind in sending me this little miniature sheet here, which has the 2 stamps that he used on the envelope. So that's the perfect piece to go into my NASA Apollo thematic topical collection. So thank you very much for that, Ted. That is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love those stamps. And not only has he included those, but he has also included these Polish stamps here, Apollo 15 and Luna 17 moon missions. Now, the Apollo 15 did land on the moon, and the Russian Luna 17 would have been an unmanned landing by the Russians, or by the Soviets at the time. But yeah, Apollo 15, now you can see they're in the lunar rover. And of course, if you watch my last video featuring the Challenger cover, I did mention that there was another controversy in some space mail that occurred on Apollo 15, where the astronauts had taken some covers to the moon and not declared these with NASA, and they were taking them up for their own profit, kind of like a life insurance policy. Now we've got some more stamps here for the Apollo Soyuz, and these are from Laos, and you know, the Apollo Soyuz was a joint NASA and Soviet collaboration to dock 2 spacecraft in orbit. It was seen as like a kind of a peace treaty in space in the 1970s. You know, at a time when the Cold War was in full sort of bloom. So yeah, nice set of colourful stamps there. You got one of the Apollo command modules at the bottom there, and the picture, and guessing this is the 2. It's not a mission I'm fully conversant with, but Alexei Leonov at the top there, in the top left, he was the first cosmonaut to actually walk in space in 1965. And then we've got Valery Kurasov, another cosmonaut. And then we've got Tom Stafford and Vance Brand, both of whom had come through the Apollo program. The rocket they used for this mission was a rocket that had been scheduled for one of the Apollo missions, 18, 19 or 20. Those missions were cancelled after budgeting was pulled, deeming that because the Americans had already landed on the moon several times, that there was no point in funding further moon missions. But that didn't mean the end of space travel, because that money was then diverted to fund the space shuttle program later in the 70s. So yeah, those are some absolute wonderful bits from Ted. So thank you very much, Ted. They are much appreciated. Next up is my good old friends at BB Stamps. This is another one of my monthly orders. Or you may have noticed, I mean, a couple of months back I did mention that I had a budget of between £50 and £100, and you may have thought over the last few weeks, well, you seem to have spent a little bit more than that, and that is true. But towards the end of last year, I'd you know, I'd paid off some debt and cleared some finance, and also got a lot of overtime in at work, so I've got a nice little pot of savings, some of which I set aside for my stamp collecting. So this is a mixed bag. At the top here you can see we've got some more penny red. These are the perforate penny reds with the 4 control letters. So these are going towards filling the gaps in my plate numbers collection. Down at the bottom here, this is another stamp that I didn't know existed until about a month ago. This £5 blue. And I believe this came from a miniature sheet or from a booklet. Now, it does have an overprint on it. You can see the and it does say something of anniversary, the 65th anniversary of Greenwich. Sorry, Greenwich, where I don't know where I got that from. 65th anniversary of accession. So that would have been to celebrate the Queen having been on the throne for 65 years. So yeah, I wasn't aware that existed. So yeah, I picked that one up to go with my high values collection. Now, these are stamps that I already had. These are the decimal large size Machins that first came out in 1970. Now, I had these, but I had them in used condition. These are all unmounted mint. So I just wanted to kind of refresh those in the collection. And then on this next page here, it's the same designs. These were the decimal equivalents. So 2 and 6, 5 shilling, 10 shilling, and £1, which became, as you can see here, the 10 pence, the 20 pence, the 50 pence, and the £1. Now the colours are slightly different. If you can see, the 2 and 6 on there is the kind of brown colour, and we've got the sort of deep red brown for the 5 shilling, but the 50p and the 10 shilling are the same, as are the two £1 stamps. You will notice that on the decimal and the pre-decimal pound stamps, if you look at the shape of the pound sign, you can see that the decimal pound is a lot more sort of elongated. It doesn't have the cursive little tail at the bottom. So that's one way to tell them apart. And if you can see, the 1 is a lot more distinct as a number 1, whereas on the decimal one it looks like an I, an uppercase I. So that's those. And then finally on here, again, these are some stamps that I've got in various states, and to be honest, not in great condition. Probably they're all used. I don't have any of these mint. These are fine used, which I bought from BB Stamps. I think there's a set of 5 here and a set of 4. But yeah, these are different issues from, I think this is 1988 and 1983. And there are several of these. I'm going to cover these in a video where I'm just going to do Queen Elizabeth high value stamps, and that's going to include the original decimal castles all the way up to current day. But if you can see these here from 93 onwards, much like the Machins of the time, they've now introduced a elliptical perforation on the high values. And if you notice this, it's not the Machin design on these, it's actually the David Gentleman cameo. But yeah, I shall be discussing these in more detail when I come to do that video regarding Queen Elizabeth high values. So yeah, there's 2 different sets. Those are the 1988 set, and if you notice, the Queen's head is different on these. On that one it's the proper kind of sculpture, whereas on these it is the golden. It's the same design head, the same shape head, the cameo, but that one's just single colour golden, whereas that one shows the features of the Queen. Anyway, so that's those. And then finally, although not strictly Machins, I picked these up as well. These are a set of Hong Kong definitives. So these were pre-1997. 1997, Great Britain handed back control of Hong Kong to China. But yeah, this has got various different values. I think they're quite a nice set of stamps, but these are using the Gentleman cameo as well. So yeah, not quite Machins. These higher values are, if you notice, are quite larger format than the lower denominations. Not sure what the exchange rate was between a Hong Kong dollar and a pound, but yeah, you know, having a stamp going up to $50 on those. Now there is another set of these which I pulled one out of my Machins album. This is another set of Hong Kong stamps. This is some Machins, and if you notice there, it is actually the Machin image with the Queen wearing the crown, the diadem. So that's the same image that is used on the British Machin designs. So it's a really nice set of those. Not very expensive to pick up if it's just something you'd like to add to your Machin collection. That's what I did with them. And also, I mean, I'm going to end up putting these in the same stock book, you know, alongside these, even though they're not technically Machins. I just think they're another nice set that go to complement the Hong Kong Machins. So let me grab this and put that back there so I don't forget to put it back in the stock book. So that is it for incoming mail. Let me just grab everything from over here, he says. And no, it's not there. I thought I'd left them on the side there. Oh, and I did have this other, I almost forgot this one. This is another piece of viewer mail that's come from Jeff Alexander. Now, Jeff sent me some stamps the other week, and he sent me another little packet here of US stamps. So let's take these out to have a look. I knew I had something else somewhere. So this looks like a very nice set of space related stamps. Again, USA, Skylab. Then we've got some various probes going off to other planets. The Pioneer probe towards Jupiter. There's the Mariner 10 investigating Venus and Mercury. And just another selection of US stamps. Nice airmail stamp there, I like that one. And that's an interesting design there. 75th anniversary Veterans of Spanish, American and Other Foreign Wars, VFW. That's the Maltese cross emblem there in the middle. Another airmail stamp there. Collective bargaining. Out of conflict accord. Benjamin West, American artist. Not somebody I'm familiar with, I'm afraid. Robert Frost. Now, that's a name that I do know, the poet, but I'm not familiar with his work. I'm sure there's something that, you know, once I'd heard one of his published works, I'd kind of recognise, oh yeah. But off the top of my head, Christmas stamp there, I'm not sure what year that would be from. Got some like Germanic font there for US 10 cents. And it looks like we've got some more famous Americans. Rachel Carson, again not somebody that I'm familiar with. You know, we don't tend to study US history in at school in the UK. You know, there are certain elements of things that are covered. You know, like the War of Independence, maybe. You know, some major events such as, you know, the Civil War, abolition of slavery, and how that tied in with English history. Then maybe involvement in both First and Second World Wars. And Crazy Horse. Now, Native American, that is a name that I do recognise, but, you know, again, I'm not 100% familiar with which tribe he was associated. But yeah, Crazy Horse is a well-known Native American, even in the UK. And what have we got here? Contributors to the I will make out that word. Oh, cause. Contributors to the cause. Haim Salomon. Again, don't know what that pertains to in history. And United States. This is one of the presidents set again. Can't see who that is. Let me just get my magnifying glass and William Henry Harrison, and I think that is a 3 cents value on that one. Oops, sorry, just nearly poked myself in the eye there. I'm taking it so it's a 3 cents. So am I right in thinking that he was the third president? Is it the 1938 president stamps that each value indicates the number of the president? Like 1 cent for George Washington, the ½ cent for, or the 1.5 cent for his wife Martha, then 2 cents was John Adams, was it? Yeah, so if somebody could either confirm or deny that for me, it'd stop me asking the question every time I see one of these stamps. I should probably go away and Google it, but never mind. So yeah, well, thank you very much again, Jeff, for sending that over. You know, there's a decent array of stamps on the back of that one. Some of which I've seen before. I've seen that Tiffany lamp. That was one that was sent through to me previously. I've had some from that like fruit and vegetables series. But yeah, Poland Millennium. It's quite a nice stamp. No, USA $1. Again, that's quite a nice item there. So, yep, thank you very much. All much appreciated. So, final piece of admin. Earlier on, just before I started recording, I used a random comment picker and selected a winner for the giveaway. I thought I did have the stamps at hand, but I don't. I must have bundled them together and put them up to one side. But if I can refresh your memory, there was 2 sheets of 2 stock cards with Machins. There was the miniature sheet for the 150th anniversary of the Penny Black. There was the presentation pack with the double head stamps for the 150th anniversary with Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth on there. There was the centenary set with King George VI and Queen Victoria's heads alongside each other. And then there was also the, I think it was the 175th anniversary of the penny black. In fact, let me just... Ah, there they are. I thought I'd... So we've got the Machins. A nice set of Machins. We've got the... Just move that up a little bit. So we've got some of the high values down here. Pre-decimal. We've got the 93 elliptical perforations. We've got some NVIs, and we've got some regionals. We've then got the George VI and Victoria set. We've got the miniature sheet, the 150th anniversary of the penny black, the 175th anniversary of the penny black, with those reproduction penny black and twopenny blue, and the presentation pack with the 5 double head stamps in. So, yep. So the winner of this giveaway is Mr. Brian Watson. So Brian Watson, your comment was drawn at random from all the comments in the comment section on the giveaway video. So congratulations to you. What I will need you to do, Brian, is to reach out to me either via email at JohnCollectsStamps@gmail.com or via Instagram as a direct message, JohnCollectsStamps, or one word. I'll put links to both in the description, so if you want to send me your mailing address, I will get these in the post to you probably by the end of this week. I'm due to go to the post office, I think, on Friday, so I shall get these in the post to you for then. So, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please consider giving me a like. If you're not already, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to try and keep up with my erratic schedule when I'm uploading content. I think my camera's just had a bit of a wobble again and stopped and started again. I'm going to have a look at this. I think it's possibly the SD card is playing up. Anyway, sorry about that for interrupting. Yeah. So there will be a video later in the week or at weekend, or maybe both. It's all dependent on my time constraints, and as I've mentioned, the video will be related to my Isle of Man collection that I started recently, and a big thanks to Jeff at Foxridge Philately for sending me those stamps that give me like a bit of a starter kit. And I've also been exchanging some messages with Jeff because he collects Isle of Man, and just discussing something that I'll be talking about in that video. So until then, stay safe, keep warm, and happy stamping, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.